So I want to welcome Mr. Pradeep Kote to this session. Thank you very much, Pradeep, for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I also want to welcome all the students and the audience who are joining us. It's also being live streamed, so we have a lot of participants whom we can't see over here, but they are watching this. And just to give a quick introduction about Mr. Pradeep Kote, he's the Senior HR Manager, Head Campus Recruitment at TCS for TCS in Karnataka. He has done various roles within HR space, talent engagement, and talent management in the information technology and services industry. He's an experienced banking. He has experience in banking operations, professional transitioned into a capable HR leader. He is a professional degree, HR, human resource management degree from XLRI Jamshedpur. He's a sports enthusiast. And Pradeep, I was really intrigued right from Kabaddi to Formula One. So GP, and you love to travel and explore new places, and you're also a biking enthusiast. So welcome, Pradeep.
Thank you. Thank you so much. A pleasure to be here.
Yes. So Pradeep, we start right away with this session is all about how COVID has impacted. The work, the IT industry and specifically to TCS, how is it going to be and how is the recruitment going to be for the batches which are going to come, the present 2021 batch, and also, a little bit about the 2020 hiring because, these people have already been offered jobs. So my first question to you is, how has COVID-19 impacted the IT industry? I know it's a little difficult to answer because seeing the effects, it's not that it's full blown, and but still, we are all experiencing it. So how do you foresee it? How is the impact?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it is impacted in any kind of a negative way. Probably what I would say from whatever we have seen so far and the kind of interaction that we have already shared in the last couple of months, what I see is it has got a good share of positive and a bit of, I would say, negative as well. Positives are all in the technical space. If you look at it, even the kind of interaction that we are having today, we would not have otherwise ventured into. We would have still wanted a physical connect at the college, having a person there available to interact with the students. Now, similar is the case with an IT organization like us. So if you look at the way we are going ahead, completing our projects, delivering things successfully, we have moved into a more location independent kind of a space. Doesn't matter where you are. We have, as an organization, moved into a kind of place where 95%, which amounts to about 4,20,000 plus employees working from there.
I think we have lost your voice.
Okay, looks like you have muted me.
No, we have not. No, you're there. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So it's a kind of, we are in that scenario where more than 90% of our workforce is now gone digital. They have gone back to their comfort zones, their own respective homes from where they are still delivering what is expected for a customer. So that doesn't mean we have stopped delivering what our customers wanted. And I'm sure similar is the case with all our competitors or our peers in the industry as well. So projects have not stopped. Employees have continued to work with what they are doing or what they were doing before this, just like how colleges continue to an online platform to deliver their classes. It's a new way of working for all of us. Negative, if you have to ask me a little bit, probably on the freedom of movement is something that we would have to consider as a negative. We are all restricted to our own respective locations. There is no more socializing. Socializing is also now through social media, so that's the only change that I see. So it probably gives a little bit of more importance to the mental health of people, the mental well-being of employees. So those are areas that need to be concentrated on. Other than that, I don't see much of a change that is coming into this field now.
Yeah, and I think you recently had a webinar on health issues also, which we had shared with our students.
Absolutely, yes. We are
Yeah.
trying to
So
cater to as many things related to personal well-being as possible,
yes.
so that it helps everyone.
Yeah. So, you know what, there's a lot of apprehension, in the minds of students and people, that they could lose jobs, So how does it look? I mean, are people, because in some areas, people are losing jobs, So how does it, do you think because of COVID-19, the projects or whatever, because of technology or whatever, are going to people, is there a fear of that? Because that is there predominantly playing in the minds of people. Students, I don't know how much, but yes, that's always there, So
So we thought about it. I'm sure a lot of such scenarios come up when there is a challenging situation in front of us. We always think that this is going to cut down on the number of jobs. We thought about it during the Y2K incident. We thought about it every time there is a digitization that takes place. If you look at government organizations or government banks, moment there is a digital push from the government, probably they don't want to take it up. Now, this is exactly a similar kind of a situation for us. If I
yes.
have to point specifically to TCS, I take it in two different, ways, a twofold impact. One, the existing workforce. If you look at the existing workforce, there has been zero impact. I'm sure most of our employees are happy that they are back with their family and still are in a position to contribute to the work. And if
Yes.
you or maybe students at any point have followed our annual result presentation by our CEO and MD, it was very clear that the productivity actually went up during that 3 weeks of lockdown period before our annual result presentation. So we actually find a positive in this. There is no impact on the existing workforce, and as committed by the CEO and the CHRO of TCS, all those offers that were rolled out, the 40,000 plus offers that were rolled out for 2020 batch, stand good. This is a commitment that is given by the organization. So anyone who has accepted the offer, who has received the offer from TCS, it stands good at this point in time. And we are not in any hurry to retract or get those offers back. The other part, maybe of your question also is the future of employment. Now, that is an area that I'm sure it's a little too early for us to understand where we stand as an industry plus as an organization. So what we at this point have started is some space wherever there is a possibility of engagement or a recruitment, location independent, social distancing supported modes that can be possible, like Code Vita, which is right now available for students. It can be done at the comfort of their houses. So this is a platform that has been launched to ensure that students take benefit of these platforms. The large scale recruitment, probably it will be a little too early for us to even forecast or even predict anything. Maybe towards the end of May or mid-June is when there will be a little more clarity in terms of where we stand as an industry altogether. But if you're looking at the technology per se, do we require the kind of skill sets that our students are currently learning in their engineering? I'm sure there is more requirement for those skills to be put to use at this point in time. That's how I would certainly summarize the answer for this.
Yeah, thank you, Pradeep, and assuring people that the honors are going to be offered, because that would have been my next question. And I also want to tell the viewers, you can actually type your questions so that we can ask Pradeep in case you have any questions. Two-way interaction. So please type your questions. I will take it up, and Pradeep is there to answer. In the meantime, till I get those questions, I just want to ask Pradeep. So the honors are going to be offered, but could there be a delay? I mean, how long is the range that people can expect their honors offers to be honored? And not only for TCS. I mean, this would be the scenario for most of the companies, the mass recruiters. So I mean, specifically to TCS, how long could the delay be for them, or the deferred joining, or dates of joining?
That's what that is a very tricky position that we are all in. I'm sure every organization at this point is in that kind of a zone where it is very difficult to point finger at a specific date on the calendar and say this is the date that we will. The situation that we are all going through at this point, the COVID situation, has suddenly bloomed in without an end date. We really don't know where it is taking us. And with this kind of a challenge, not exactly knowing what is the solution, it's a little tricky for anyone to point exactly to a date and say this is the date. We are all taking just like how most of our sports people, say like a test match. We take one match at a time or one innings at a time. It's a similar situation for us as well. We are counting by the day and seeing how we can take these things forward, and the sooner the better for all of us. I'm sure everybody is eager to join and start contributing. What we are doing during this kind of a situation that we are in, there is a community that is already created for all those students who are offered. We are engaging with them on various online learning platforms so that this kind of a time that we have at hand is certainly not, wasted at any kind of a, for whatever reason that we are seeing today. So we are trying to put this particular situation into the best use that is possible for us from our end, trying to come up with various hackathons or, various events for the offered students as well, so that any upskilling that they are able to do during this scenario will certainly help them when they are onboarded. And we are continuously in touch with every student that is offered, and we will keep them informed and give enough, time frame for them to smoothly transition into the professional setup that we are.
Yeah, so that's really reassuring, and I think for the students also, there's enough of material to actually work on to keep them abreast.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Pradeep, this is one query which keeps coming. Now, from my non-IT students, I have my third years viewing this, and, some of the final years who have also got this thing offers with TCS. Now what will be my position as a non-IT student? Is it that I will be given an IT project, or what is my, as a non-IT student, how will I fit in, because is it going to be very difficult for me, this transition? How does TCS help the non-IT students actually who get selected, get into this? Start working, yeah.
It's a little tricky area at this point. See, we have until probably about 2014, 2015, we have had very clear demarcations saying IT, non-IT. And today we are in a situation which is more of a collaboration. It is no more clearly divided, saying some aspect is completely non-IT and some aspect is completely IT. So we are in that kind of a zone at this point in 2020, where collaboration and creativity are the two buzzwords that we hear in the industry. No matter which domain you come from, you may be from a mechanical engineering background or from electronics and communication. There is an aspect of digitization that has taken place everywhere. And when I say digitization, there is some aspect of programming that has come in. It could be various programming languages. It could be anything ranging from the basic C onwards to more advanced programming languages, or even, say, for example, a Java, but then there are various levels of, complexity within Java itself. So if you look at, the kind of work that we are getting into, it is a collaboration between multiple, industries or multiple streams. Let me take an example here. The other day, I was just having a chat with one of our delivery partners, the senior delivery partners within TCS. Now, he comes from a business vertical in TCS called Enterprise Application Services. Now, this particular business vertical within TCS caters to every other business unit, because enterprise application services, so there are various applications within our customer enterprises that this particular business supports. So it could be a healthcare, it could be a banking, it could be any kind of a business that our customer is from. As TCS, we still deliver. Now he has 8 different business functions under him or within his scope. Today we reach a situation where healthcare has become remote. I can't even probably go and visit a doctor. Even those are now available over a video conferencing or a teleconferencing. So TCS is now developing certain solutions where we can enable the doctor to understand how to even detect some kind of a issue at the other end with their patients and even treat them. So these are new age and never thought of solutions that we are asked to do. And we are working on it, and we are doing some research in that field as well. So there is nothing like a specific stream alone, because when it comes to healthcare, you also look at devices. I'm sure some of the mechanical engineering students will be looking into those aspects of designing a device. But to make it effective, I'm sure the other students or students from other streams will also have to pitch in and partner with them. So this is exactly why I'm saying it is going to be more creative and more collaborative going forward. So the sooner we, as a stakeholder community, maybe the academic partners as well as the corporations, the sooner we understand this change in the industry and adapt, bring in whatever is possible, do some self-learning, because everything will not be taught through your curriculums, and curriculums don't change that fast. So I think most of it is going to be even self-driven now. So the sooner we adapt and upskill ourselves, the better it is for all of us as stakeholders.
Yeah. Yes, Pradeep. So I have a query here. How is the campus recruitment going to be this year? Is there going to be any change, or is it going to be the same as last year?
At the outset, it is not going to be any different. We have started CodeVita just exactly the same way how it started last year. We have not had any change in the calendar for CodeVita. Last year itself was around July, and we are back on the same calendar line for CodeVita. But the rest of the activities, the ones that we had last year where we did a national qualifier test, we had to have students come to a specific location to take an assessment. Now, is it going to be same this year? As I mentioned to one of your earlier questions, it may be a little too early for us to even think about it now, because we don't have an end date for COVID at this point. So without having an end date for that, thinking about something that is not completely in our control, not very sure how it is going to be. But if your question is whether there would be recruitment, I'm sure there is going to be a lot of demand for skilled resources throughout. That's not going to fall, is what I believe from how I see the industry today. As I have seen some articles even on LinkedIn, some of those firms that are supporting with providing skilled resources are already back on track, looking for certain specific skills. And, I don't think there is much that is lost until whatever is, the last 60 days that we have lost probably is the only thing that we may have lost. Other than that, I think we should be back on track pretty soon.
Okay, so that's good to hear. So I will come to that national qualifier test. So you foresee, I mean, that's going to happen. You're going to come to the campus for the NQT national qualifier test for the 2021 batch.
Yeah, if things fall in place for us to go ahead, I'm sure there will be. But we really, because see, when we are talking about national qualifier, we are even talking about few hundred students coming to a specific facility. Now that defeats the whole purpose of social distancing if we are expected to maintain that. Now, considering those challenges, we really don't know how this is going to shape up. If these things fall into place soon, if everything goes well and we are in a free world like what we were 3 months ago, I'm sure that will come into effect as early as possible. But yeah, fingers crossed at this point.
Yes. And coming to, I wanted to raise a question, because there's a query regarding TCS CodeVita. So as of now, CodeVita is going to be the major hiring platform for you as of now, right? Till NQT comes.
Yeah, so we have different contests lined up for different set of students. I wouldn't say set of students, different interests of our student community. Now, CodeVita is dedicated for the programming enthusiasts. Uh, while we have Nginx, we have, various other contests that are lined up later, maybe, something on the cyber security lines, something on the artificial intelligence, like what we had last year. We had 6 different contests. Now, these will be catered to, with the maybe a couple of months gap between the two contests, because we do not want students to get diluted into multiple contests at the same time. Now, the backbone of all of this would still be programming, some aspect of programming. It could be from the basic level of programming to an advanced level. But what we are trying to build here is, if students get into the practice mode at this point through CodeVita, this is going to make the rest of those contests that are lined up a little later a more meaningful one for the student community, and more meaningful for the larger industry as well. Because those who are participating here, we are not 100% sure that they will make the cutoff for TCS recruitment or not, because we don't know what the participation is going to be. But the amount of knowledge that they gain out of these platforms is going to help them in future, is how I would, that's a positive angle that I would see if I am a student at this point.
All right. And what would be your suggestion for a student who's participating in TCS CodeVita? Is there any special preparation? Where could they actually go and prepare? Is there anything that they could specifically do? Because there is still some time for them to write the exam.
Yeah, the practice platform is open right away. Students can practice as we speak. The platform is open and it is available for all the students. Like every year, we will also be launching a mock version of the CodeVita, which has got its limitation of 6 hours, in a particular day for 6 problem statements. A mock version of that will be released soon. We are still waiting and looking at the calendar for students working with various universities in terms of what is the best time for us to launch such a platform. So once that is done, a mock version will be launched so that the students can test themselves in terms of how ready they are or how exactly this contest would be. So that helps to understand or self-assess and do the course correction that is required after that.
All right. I have a query. If someone who has not got into TCS this year, 2020 batch, how can they apply for TCS? Is there going to be an off-campus, or is there any other way in which they can, apply for TCS?
Okay, this is a question which is very tricky, because while we are addressing even the 2021 recruitment, I'm really not sure, because the time frame that we are talking is too short. Maybe we really don't know, because if there is going to be a huge demand, I'm sure, as a person who runs your placement for the college, I'm sure you will appreciate that fact that these are all demand supply stuff, at the end of the day. Now, do we have so much of demand? The 2020 batch that we have already offered to, they are waiting in their wings now to join the organization and start contributing. Now, with them joining in, do we still need additional resources? Now, that is something that will determine whether there is going to be an off-campus. I'm putting a very clear, factual representation in front of you so that it's clear for every stakeholder that is involved. While we would certainly want to help as many as possible, it is more of a demand supply, criteria that works in the industry. If there is going to be more demand from businesses, I'm sure there is going to be an off-campus that will come up. But whether there would be a demand is something that we may not be able to assess today, because we are all still in the COVID challenge here in India. And if you look at the global scenario, the major economies like US and Europe or even UK are still struggling. They have been the most impacted, more so compared to even India. So we have to look at the global scenario. We have to look at multiple factors before we arrive at any kind of a kind of direction before we go ahead with these kind of things. But I'm sure with a couple of months, you will get more clarity on that.
Okay. So, Pradeep, you have such a wide experience, and especially in TCS, almost a decade now. So, what are your three tips for anyone who is actually an engineer? What are the three skills that are very important for an engineer in order to do well in the industry?
See, two of them I have already mentioned. Creativity and collaboration are the two things that I'm talking about. And I speak to, irrespective of what stream the student comes from, whether it is a management background or even an engineering background. Today we have a different set of challenges that pop up every now and then, and we are forced to do a course correction. The other aspects, if I have to, I wouldn't want to limit only to three, but if I have to say a few things that students can pick up is start picking up things from the industry, do a little bit of self learning, try and understand, visit various corporate websites, understand what exactly they are catering to, what are the industries they are working with, do a lot more of homework from that front. You will get to know what is the most you know uh, in demand kind of an industry from a global perspective. So once you know that, it helps you prepare, do whatever course correction is required. I still say that, okay, I'm 4 years of engineering I have completed. Is it worth I do a course correction after 4 years? Now, it is something that we have to take stock of. Did I start? Why did I even start learning this engineering stream? At the end of the day, I wanted to contribute to something larger. Now, what is the whole scenario out there is changing. So if I don't change at my end, probably the goal is going to get stretched far away from me. So as a student, I would still want to look at how close can I get to that goal, and what are those ways that I can get closer to that. The sooner, the better it is for all of us. So creativity, collaboration, learning, and doing the course correction are the four things that I would ask all the students to look at.
Yeah. So, and Pradeep, one more question that's always there in the minds of the students. Is it like, should I go for a job? Should I go for a higher studies, or should I go become an entrepreneur? I mean, so what would be your suggestion?
Okay. If I was a student, I wouldn't certainly go for higher studies because, see, engineering is one kind of a benchmark, at least in the Indian scenario. If I have to, go back and let all of you know, engineering is kind of a benchmark for you to be employed, or a major benchmark for getting into an employment. Now, with that being done, higher study or an employment. Now, I would prefer learning on the go, on the job, and learning on the industry challenges that are available there, rather than going with the curriculum that is given by university, because I know it is more practical over there in the industry. Entrepreneurship or an employment, the challenge again would be if there is an employer who is offering me something, a platform where I can explore myself, or display my capability, or put my capabilities to the right use, I would still want to take up the employment because the risk is very less there. Startup or entrepreneurship, the risk is a little high because you don't know exactly where you are headed. While you are confident of your skills, it is more of a collaboration. You have to rely on various stakeholders to ensure that your entrepreneurship or your respective business entity actually succeeds. So there have been some fantastic startups in the near past, but there have been a lot of them that failed as well, and those are tested at such challenging times. It's very difficult for them to cope up with situations like what we are in today. So if you ask me one single answer, probably if there is a platform that is given to me by an employer, I would take that up any day. If something is not available, probably an entrepreneurship. Higher study is not my cup of tea.
I think engineering as such, the course is more than enough, in case you want to, because the skills that you get, I think, is more than enough. And then once you join the workplace, you get to learn so much hands-on.
True, true.
There's a query. If I want to, I'm interested in doing an internship with TCS. How can I go about? How should I apply?
I'm sorry, I didn't get that clear.
That someone wants to do an internship. If someone wants to do an internship with TCS, is there a procedure? And if so, how? I mean, does it allow? And if so, how can they go about?
Yeah, CodeVita itself, it's a platform that has both internship as well as employment opportunity. Now, internship is for the junior grades. That's one of the options. Like the students who are currently in the second year or first year can still participate in CodeVita and take up an internship. There are students who have already reached out to me, and we have offered internship for those who were in their second year last year in 2020, who completed the CodeVita and have come through the ranks over there. The other option is if there is a student who gets an offer from TCS, because the number of offers we make itself is so huge. By the time we end up offering internship for those students, we may not be left with much opportunity for students outside that group. So I would still suggest all those who are interested even in the internship to look at participating in the contest even for the internship, because from what I understand, even VTU has made some changes in the internship to be made available in the 7th semester from this year on. So if CodeVita goes well, there is every chance for a student to get into the internship as well.
Pradeep, but there is a fear regarding CodeVita that, it's a big thing and it's very difficult to crack. So how would you, what would you tell the students? They do register, but I think even with your experience, you see the registration is high, but actual participation and overall clearance may not be that high. So, I mean, why would you, what tip would you give to the students? Is there any hope for our students?
See, there is every hope for, I wouldn't want to say there is
for
no
an
hope
average
for anyone.
student. Yeah.
So any student, if you look at it, see, CodeVita is a very discrete platform. So this platform allows the student to take this CodeVita in the comfort of his or her house or respective, whichever is a comfortable platform. And as an individual, you compete there. Nobody is testing you, or nobody is even going to judge you whether you clear it or not. What matters is now you are in the 3rd week of May, and CodeVita is not going to hit the market until mid-July. So you have roughly about 50 days for you to even practice. Even if you are not an expert today, you can still practice. Now with CodeVita, what happened, if I have to just give you some numbers like what we did last year or the previous 8 seasons, there are 6 problem statements, 2 of them which are simple, easy for any student to crack, and 2 medium complex, and 2 of them a little more advanced, programming related. Even if a student has cleared 1 of them, we still invite the student for an interview. Even 1 problem statement solved in 6 hours time, the student gets an opportunity to give an interview for TCS, and during the interview, the team or the panel will decide what needs to be done, whether the student gets a higher salary bracket offer of a digital package of 7 lakhs or an innovator package, which is an offer to work with the research and innovation wing of TCS, where the offer package is between 9 and 11 lakhs, or the regular package. Now, these are things that are decided at the interview table. Now, why would I, as a student, not even want to try? I still would like to give it a shot and see. If I make it, then I have a shot at the interview. If I don't make it, I don't need to make it public to anybody that I didn't clear it, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So it's a more discrete platform. So I would still encourage students to say, because you don't know what kind of opportunities are going to come up going forward, because none of us are aware of what is the end date with this COVID. So with the current situation, I would still encourage every student to take up every platform that is available. And currently, CodeVita seems to be one of the largest platforms that is available. So take it, do whatever you can with this, and let us see what happens with that. So there needs to be no fear of failure. So even if you fail, only you know it. So you do the course correction and see where you want to, move ahead from there. I don't think anybody should be worried about the failure at this point.
Yeah, very nicely put, Pradeep. And finally, Pradeep, one last question. Any message for the students who are watching this? Because this is basically students who are watching. I also have one more question. I think before you answer that, there is a query. Can you explain the data science opportunity for freshers in TCS and whether CodeVita helps for the learning and participating in hackathons? I think you answered that before. Yeah, maybe you've joined later, Sagar, but if you could just answer that.
Yeah, I could see that message pop up in the window. See, data science itself, if you look at as I mentioned already, any corporate portal will give you 100% information on what that particular organization is working on at the moment. You go to tcs.com, look at those details that are available over there in terms of products and platforms offered by TCS. Now, if you look at those products and platform section of tcs.com, you will find at least 11 or 12 different products and platforms which are trademark TCS. You will find business verticals that we support, analytics being one of those most sought after. So data science, data analytics, all these are areas that TCS is currently working on. There are a large number of projects that are going on in this kind of a field. But at the end of the day, if I have to point blank say one skill that is required, and it could be from varied degrees of, in that particular skill, is the programming that connects all the dots in this, in this entire chain of opportunities that are available is programming. It could be various levels of it. Some of them may be basic level of programming, and some of them may require a more advanced level of programming. What I would suggest all the students is have that level of programming at least imbibed, along with which look at your domain skills which you are interested in. It could be an artificial intelligence, it could be ML, it could be various other areas like data science or any of those things. Pick all these things along with the basic level of programming, and I'm sure, if not TCS, any other organization for that matter, you will have a wonderful future.
Yeah, Pradeep. So finally, any message to the viewers that you would want them to have before we leave?
I think there is so much that we have already spoken. I really don't want to, bore them with any kind of a gyan that they would otherwise consider. But what I would suggest all the students is, maybe I would have taken it in a very relaxed way. Why, if I was a student at this point in time, because that's how students are wired, and I was like that when I was a student as well. But things are changing. We don't need to make a mistake and only then learn. I think we all need to learn from things that are visible to us. Now, I think we are more connected to what I was when I was studying. And, most of us, when we were pre-2000, when we were in colleges, we never had that kind of a connection or a social media and rest of the things. But today we have everything available on fingertips. So we don't need to wait for ourselves to make any kind of a mistake. So look at every possible information that is available. I'm sure we are all digital. We have smartphones and we can look at any kind of an information right on our fingertips. Look at these things, learn on the go, be as open to learning something new as possible, and wishing you the very best and great success is all I can say at this point. And stay safe.
Thank you very much, Pradeep. Thank you so much for this. And I hope this has been helpful, and I'm sure it has. And I want to thank all the audience for participating. And Pradeep, thank you very much for this.